Okay. بركاته خيلا شحاكم خيم الرخاء. Welcome, folks. Okay. One moment. Notify. I'm the Chayim Bracha. We begin a new mimer, a new discourse. It's a discourse we've learned before, but something that describes the month of Elul that we're in now in a beautiful way. And since we learned it a year ago, a year later, I have forgotten some of the details. So you may also have forgotten some of the details. Some of you might be the first time you're learning it. All right. But the truth is, first time or 10th time, there's always something new. So this is a discourse that was said by the Rebbe actually this past Shabbos, which was Parshas Re'eh. We're in the Parsha of Shoftim now. In the year 1966. Wow. So it's just under 60 years ago. So it begins with the famous words, Ani ledoidi v'doidi li. I am to my beloved, and my beloved is to me. Which that is a Rosh Tevis, the first letters of each word, spells out the word Elul. Aleph from the word Ani, I, ledoidi, to my beloved, Lamed, right? Aleph Lamed, vidoidi, and my beloved, Vav, and Li is to me, also with a Lamed. So Elul is spelled Aleph Lamed, Vav Lamed. Or in English, Ellul. But of course, that doesn't fit into the acronym. So it's explained by the Alter Rebbe in Likutei Torah. The Alter Rebbe explains on these words, these famous words that are said in Shir Hashirim, in the Song of Songs, by King Solomon. Elul is what we call an Asrusa de Latata. It's an awakening from above, from below, sorry. It's an awakening from below. In other words, awakening from below means it begins with me, that I wake up and I realize, oh my gosh, I need to connect. I need to connect to God. I need to connect to the depths of my soul. I need to connect much higher, right? And that's what it starts, the words, Ani ledoidi, I am to my beloved, right? It begins with me, that I'm making the approach first. But Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, though, it's different. That's what doidili. That's my beloved is to me, right? Why? Because that's an awakening from above, right? What happens Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, for those who live in the Jewish community, know that and go to synagogue. More people go to synagogue on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur than any other time. More people awaken to their Judaism. They're not awakening to their Judaism. Rosh Hashanah is calling out to them, not that they're calling out to God. It's sort of like, it's Rosh Hashanah. It's sort of like the awesomeness of the day. It's Yom Kippur, that's calling out. It's nothing on a person's own initiative, one's effort. No, it's the initiative of God that shines on that day. That people come out of the woodwork and they come to synagogue and they feel the connection. But the connection begins from above, not from below. It's not from the person's initiative. Now, in the end, of course, someone has to go to synagogue, right? So in the end, it's the person that goes. But the point is, where's the initiative begin? It begins because of the awesomeness of the day, as opposed to Elul. We're going to learn more about. It's nothing inherently awesome about it, right? Unless you recognize its awesomeness, unless you make the awesomeness is in your recognition and your awareness. That's the awesomeness. So that's initiative from below, and that's why it begins ani lidoidi. I am to my beloved. Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. Those days are called the days of awe. So that's an initiative from above. Now, of course, we need to be aligned with it and attuned to it, and many people are not. Granted, but nonetheless, that's the way it is. And that's what the verse ends, V'doidi li, and my beloved is to me. So in other words, okay. So how is it understood? How is it understood then that when we say that the acronym of Elul, right, which is the 30 days of the month of Elul, 30 days of the month of Elul, how's it including Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur then? That's the next month of Tishrei. Seemingly, it doesn't fit in, right? Why would that be part of the acronym? This explains because the month of Elul is a prep month for the next month of the high holidays. So in that respect, it fits into the month of Elul. In order that you can get that great illumination, that great divine light, right? That is, as Rosh Hashanah is, an aspect of Rosh Hashanah is the Day of Judgment. In order that you could receive everything that that there is Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, you need to prepare for it, like everything in life. The more the preparation, the greater will be the experience and the revelation and so on and so forth. So Elul is preparing for that. Therefore, in the acronym of Elul, you have also the aspect of V'doidi li, and my beloved is to me, referring to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Right. But we need to understand. So that's all based on the Alter Rebbe, as he explains it, right? This concept. And the Rebbe questions this and says, those last letters, Vav and Lamed of Elul, right? V'doidi li, since it's from the letters that make up the word Elul in the acronym, right? It sounds like it's not just that Elul is a preface, a preparation for the month, for Doidi Li, right? But that in the month of Elul, we also have the aspect of doidi li, my beloved is to me. In other words, up down, right? The up down connection. That's what it sounds like that I was asking, right? So, okay, that was first paragraph. Second paragraph, continuing in the mimer, Elul is a time of that the Yud Gimel Midas Harachmim, the 13 divine attributes of compassion, are shining. That even though, right, well, that might sound a little contradiction. What do you mean? Didn't we just say that Elul is a month of the personal initiative from below to above, right? So why are we saying that Elul, there's shining this great light from above, the 13 attributes of divine compassion, right, which is something that God taught to Moshe Rabbeinu, to Moses, after the sin of the golden calf, that this is what the Jewish people could use in their return, in their tshuva, in their penitence after sinning. Right, so it sounds like, oh, this is shining at that time, the whole month of Elul. That sounds like it's something from above to below. So how's it fit in with Anila Doidi, that I take the initiative to connect to my beloved? Right. So in particular, when a person is distant from godliness, okay, so in particular, someone who's distant from godliness, so the 13 attributes of divine compassion give that person an empowerment. It empowers an individual. It's important that a person knows that when they're distant from the ways of Hashem, that, naturally a person was going to, someone who's got a sensitivity is going to feel down and out. No, there's an empowerment, right? There's an empowerment that the 13 divine attributes of compassion are shining, available at that time. So says the Rebbe, that's important. All it is an empowerment that a person has to be aware that it's available. And in the end, though, it's the person's own efforts, their avodah, their divine service is what counts. So it's only a nesinas koyach, an empowerment. As opposed to an empowerment, as opposed to Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, is not merely an empowerment. The day is different, right? Just, it's different. Now, yes, in the end, the person needs to be aware of that, be aligned to it, but the day is different, right? So that's sort of like, shining from above, and it's more than an empowerment. It's sort of like, Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. You're uh, you're just aligned to a reality that's a different reality. That's what Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur is. I'm just thinking that, someone comes to a prayer service here, for example, Chabad, Zrich Kadeshim, everybody's invited to come. Um, you feel uplifted because, not because your initiative, just that the service is different, the atmosphere is different. So you are different, but you're not really different because you didn't take the initiative. You just kind of felt the vibe. That's Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, so to speak, right? That's not the 13 divine attributes that are shining in the month of Elul. Is it shining? Yes. But you need to take the initiative. It's an empowerment, but totally something that is based on you making that that effort to be aligned with that, to, right? Um, so the main place that, when we're speaking Elul versus Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, the main place of where I, in my efforts, in my divine service, is emphasized is Elul versus Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, of course, you need to pray, right? You need to do your shofar on Rosh Hashanah, fast and Yom Kippur, right? All the things that are involved with the uniqueness of the day, no doubt. But it's a response to the day rather than your initiative to the day, right? I hope that's clear. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right. Appreciate that. Okay. Um, so in tomorrow's class, we're going to go further to appreciate what does this mean? How do we understand that in the month of Elul, there's this great opportunity, great empowerment available of the 13 divine attributes of compassion? And this is where the thrust of the mimer is going to go, is understanding the metaphor that comes from the Alter Rebbe, author of the Tanya, of Melech Basada, the king in the field, famous metaphor, right? And what the Rebbe does in this discourse is take apart the metaphor in such fine detail that we come out of it, first of all, like, wow. Like, you think of a metaphor, it's just that it's kind of like dumbing down the idea because, if you don't get but you don't get 13 divine attributes that are shining, right? And the idea that's an empowerment versus a heavenly revelation that is, you just a response to as Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. Well, hard to understand exactly, that we could make that clear. So you need we need a metaphor because we're not so spiritually attuned. And then the metaphor, is just a cute way to bring out an idea, which, often it is, but not when the Alter Rebbe or a Rebbe brings out a metaphor in every detail. The Rebbe is going to take apart to appreciate its profundity, and what comes out of that after that. Wow, that's all there, and you see that the awareness of where we are at right now in this month and the opportunity that we have in this month, uh, for our personal growth and our personal uh, becoming more divinely connected, divinely, you know, divinely connected, and more not just a regular Joe in the street. All right, we will continue our conversation. All right, folks, thank you. See you soon.